we recently connected on LinkedIn. You added me, and the first thing I asked you was, how are you holding up? Which just seems to be kind of my go-to message at the moment when I'm talking to anyone online. So tell us, how is Black Wolf holding up, and what are some of the things that you're doing right now to address the tens of thousands of Aussies that have found themselves jobless as a result of COVID-19?
So we are holding a fort, on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane and our remote areas around Australia. Look, Black Wolf started in the downturn of 2013, so we certainly are used to operating in times of stress and also, when it's quiet and in crisis. I think right now communication is key. It's very easy to assume things by reading online. The first thing we started doing was getting on the phone, talking to our candidates, our clients, and our network. In terms of what we're directly doing with companies and candidates and employees that have been let go, Pete, one of the managing director here, he called the heads of Qantas and Virgin to assist with the redeployment of their staff that they've made redundant. So I believe across the airlines, it's about 20,000 staff at the moment. So I have directly spoken with the talent acquisition teams there, and what we're doing is in the process of setting up emails for those teams so they can send their staff's resumes through. We are then contacting their staff via email and just asking, what are you looking for? Where are you located? With the border closed down at the moment, we need to make sure that people can travel safely as well. And also, if they can't, is there an opportunity for them to work from home? Another thing that we're doing is reaching out and speaking with heads of the hospitality groups. And, by doing that, we're also talking to candidates that have recently been made redundant or they've lost their jobs in the hospitality industry. It's a similar situation too, but it's going through our direct email address, and people are just connecting with us that way. The other thing too, look, tradies and people that are on labour hire, we do have roles on our books for those types of candidates. But the mining industry, that is, depending on your opinion, but it's one of our biggest assets in terms of resources, and the mining industry is still going strong. Our clients in the mining space are putting in measures to keep that social distancing, to make sure, and they are all over it in terms of safety, and they've changed their safety systems to make sure they're supporting new candidates. In terms of, candidates getting out to the mines, Queensland's closing their borders in a couple of days, but that still means that labourers and trades assistants can still apply for roles in the Queensland mines. Flights may be restricted, but you can still travel. And I believe that some companies, including us, do have fleet that you can use depending on where you live. Like we have utes where our fitters jump in and they drive to and from work, around the fatigue management guidelines as well. So, and look, a little bit closer to home, we've kept everyone in our business. If anything, we're going to get busier. And as we get busier, I'll be hiring locals and also people, in Brisbane, Melbourne and Sydney to support our growing business.
Yes, no, that's good. I mean, definitely with the border closure, that does present a whole new host of problems. That's really great that you've addressed that there. I know that I have heard that if you do actually get permission through your police as well, there may be a chance that people who are just doing that direct route to and through a boarded up sort of state to get to work may actually get a relaxation there as well. But as you know, staying ahead of all of the information coming through, it's quite common at the moment for one of our leaders to come out and we'll do a press conference, make a statement about something that's being done before the devil in the details sort of been figured out. So we are having to continue to find out what's going on there. But in terms of positioning yourself as an ideal candidate online, what are some of the things job seekers need to be doing or reviewing or updating right now?
Look, I think they need to make sure that their resume is clear and up to date. One thing that I will suggest is people in their resumes, they need to put their most recent role at the top. Sometimes they'll put their oldest role and then flow it down that way. Just do your recent at the top, and make it clear, have a simple summary, but something that really sells you. And people do struggle to sell themselves. You can add a bit of personality to that, and you can also, talk about your interests as well. You don't have to go into massive detail, but I think as well, doing a great, a big audit on your social media. So I believe that you have some information around that too, Amanda, but being you know, being part of a company, you need to make sure that you're representing yourself in the best way, and they trust that you represent them as well online. Online is crazy now. You can find out everything from everyone on every single forum. So it's important, I guess, for you to have your best foot forward. You know, if you're going to close, if you want to have your opinion on social media, close your Facebook account or Instagram off, and make sure the privacy settings are on high. But I think too, you know, it's probably good to have a bit of a run through of how your Facebook is presented. And LinkedIn, if you don't have LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. It is free for job seekers as well. You know, you can drop your resume into your LinkedIn profile, and provided that you've got all the information there, it's relatively easy to just do that. You know, we have a candidate consulting arm on that side too, so more than happy to have a chat with a few people.
All really good tips. My general rule for anyone on social media is don't put anything on social media you wouldn't want printed on a billboard with your face on it. Or that you don't want basically being, you know, page 3 of the Courier Mail, Sunday Mail, you know. And myself before, but anyway, yes. So private lockdown, if you aren't able to go and tidy it up, which I suppose a lot of people at the moment, the best thing to do would be just like to shut it down, just so that, not shut it down, just have everything under lock and key for now. But perhaps if they've got time on their hands, which a lot of Australians will have at the moment, go through and do a good clean up, a good spring clean, even though it's autumn. I have got resources to help with that, so I'll make sure that I put a link to that here somewhere. Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for that tip. So what sort of advice do you have for people who feel like their skill sets aren't in demand anymore? So the current advertised position. So let's look at the 80,000 hospitality workers. Not everyone can work at Coles. Obviously, they've come out and said that they were going to employ 5,000 people very early on in the space. So I know my sister, who became unemployed, was one of the first to jump online and apply for a job. There was only one on the Gold Coast, one job at Ravenna from 5,000 jobs around the country. Are employers prepared to upskill or retrain brand new employees, or should people be sticking with what they know?
Look, I think certainly people can, there's an opportunity to upskill them through senior staff. So for example, in our team, right now I have senior recruiters. I will eventually need to bring some junior staff in, and I want to hire people that have that great attitude and just can roll with punches kind of thing and just kind of get in and help us. But I will have them shadowed by a senior recruiter. And that's the easiest way to do it. Like, they can have that buddy to go to for advice and support, but also they're able to see it directly from someone who's done it many a time and knows our processes and procedures. I've had a lot of questions around, I guess, carers and nurses being upskilled, and I do have contacts in, United Care and within the government spaces as well. It's a hard one. I know that we need support in that space, but there's a big difference between having a qualification and being experienced. And you certainly don't want people that aren't experienced going into those roles, because it can be quite confronting as well. And you want to make sure that you have that desire to do that. So I believe that there's some things going around, just upskilling support staff in the health space, which is excellent. Look, I don't think, like, in times like this, it's when people really truly learn to diversify their skills. Hospitality workers, like, they don't need to sit there and go, oh my God, is there a cafe opening? Call center. Like, hospitality people are the most resilient, hardworking people with exceptional communication skills. There's call centers around Australia that need people to field queries. Like, that is the most perfect marriage, if I ever thought of one, in terms of candidates that are available to work. And, at times call centers, they tend to pay a little bit higher. So it is that opportunity for someone to upskill, but also get paid a little bit more. I myself went from retail into call center, and it was a very easy transition. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, obviously, it'd be completely remiss of me to bring up the issue of mental health in relation to recruitment and the feeling that a lot of job seekers are going through right now. So how do you manage mental health during these times? Obviously, the rejection of a knockback is going to be felt 10 times harder than usual. So what sort of tips do you have to stay positive, and what sort of things are you doing to help your job seekers?
Look, I think, so we do a regular weekly check-in with our current candidates that are working for us. Our staff, because they are taking a lot of stressful calls. We're doing daily, if not hourly check-ins, just depending on how the landscape is changing, which seems to be hourly at this point. I think it's important to, I guess, stay motivated as opposed to positive, because you can't be positive all the time. But I guess it's important to go, I'm not the only one that's in this position. I need to remain focused in what I want to achieve. And if I'm applying for a job, I'm going to get up, working from home, get up, you put a business outfit on, you make sure that, you feel like presentable and things like that, because that's a great thing for mindset as well. Preparing yourself in the morning, having a coffee, look, I'm going to look for jobs today and this is what I'm going to do. I think tonality on the phone is really important. So if you're calling in relation to a job placement or a job application, you also need to be mindful that that person's receiving 1,000 calls a day. So it doesn't mean don't call them. Just be like, hey, appreciate you're really busy. Just want to know if you got my application, and what's the process for that? And, just make sure that they did receive it. So I think, certainly making sure that you're speaking with people as well, like within your network, like you and I, Amanda, we were chatting yesterday, had a really good chat. And that's what I'm doing with everyone at the moment, making sure that I'm talking with people and just seeing how they're doing. It changes people's day. Like you don't know how someone's going. You don't know if they're really on an edge, or if they're about to cry, or, it's just important that everyone's talking to each other. I think going down that rabbit hole of reading social media, it's so damaging as well. Like it just creates so much angst in people too. So it's probably not great to be stuck on social media all day reading, negative stories or what may be perceived.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think just having a chat, reading a book, like just keeping your mind away from things like that, and just knowing there are heaps of roles out there, and just because it doesn't say what your last title was doesn't mean that you can't transfer into it. As a country, collectively, we're coming together, and it's so great to see people try and help each other out, particularly on LinkedIn too. And it's just important that we're all in the same boat and we're all trying to do, something, and progress.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like my main sort of takeaways from, talking to experts like yourself in this instance is speak to your accountant if you're a small business owner as like a first point of call. If you are unemployed, get straight onto Centrelink and start, obviously it's just really hard at the moment because the website's crashing and all the rest of it, but you do need to access the job seeker payment. It will take about a month to kick in from when you start doing that. So you want to get onto that straight away. And then thirdly, reach out to, gun recruitment agencies like you guys to help get replaced. There certainly is help. Hope is not lost. People need to just, those three things just as a basis, just to, to replace that feeling of helplessness when it comes to, work and obviously making an income. But there are lots of other issues going on behind the scenes that people need to think about as well. And one of the best ways that we can address that is by reaching out and talking to people, because it seems that, COVID-19 has just taken up so much narrative in everyday, conversations that we're not thinking about, how are people coping outside of COVID-19, just all the normal day-to-day things that happen as well, people's general mental health, the aged, that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's really good. Now, final words to wrap this up. I want to know about the name Black Wolf Group. So where did it come from and how does one become part of the wolf pack?
So Pete and I founded the business in 2013. We have a pack mentality when it comes to recruitment. So anyone that's dealt with a recruiter, they always get that feeling, hopefully not always, but sometimes get that feeling that's a little bit transactional. What are you trying to get out of me? Ours is very much around partnering with people, clients, candidates. And I guess, as opposed to like trying to be more of that business partner and that person to go to, as opposed to being that transactional, type style. So look, permanent contracting clients, whatever aspect you're linked to with us, you're part of the wolf pack. The guys that work out on site, they have wolf pack written on the back of their shirts. If you do want to join the wolf pack, you will have to do a wolf pack howl. So Pete demands that. But look, I have an open network. So if people want to reach out to me, they can reach out to me on LinkedIn. My contact details are on the site. So more than happy to have a chat with people.
Yeah, awesome. We'll make sure we include all of those details and links so that people can reach out to you in the comments. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll keep it short and brief because people have got way too much to do right now to try and get reemployed, especially after we give them all this information to mull over and implement. So, yeah, thanks for your time, and I look forward to talking to you.